like to say something. But we're here outside County Hall to let the council know that our bees matter. And thank you for taking the time to listen. It's a public announcement and it's part of Greenpeace Isle of Wight campaign calling on the Isle of Wight Council to stop island roads from routinely spraying glyphosate 3 times a year, routinely. And you might ask why bees matter? Well, a third of UK bee population has disappeared in the last 10 years. Bees may be very tiny in size, but their role in our world is enormous. They pollinate many fruits, vegetables and nuts and wild plants and feed and sustain wildlife. When bees struggle, our food system and natural landscape struggle with them. Environmental scientists describe bees as the canary in the mine for the wider ecosystem. Because bees are highly sensitive to pesticides, habitat loss, the climate emergency, their decline is an early warning sign of the broader environmental damage. Our bees face a growing combination of man-made threats, including habitat loss, disease and the climate emergency, and exposure to pesticides and herbicides. One chemical at the centre of public concern is glyphosate, the active ingredient in many weed killers, and a product used by island roads when spraying our streets from crop bites. Island Roads fact sheet describes glyphosate as a simple tool for controlling weeds, and it states it does not harm bees, but they cite research from 2014. Clearly, more recent research has shown that glyphosate does harm bees. It disrupts their digestive system, weakens their immunity, and reduces their resilience to disease. It affects their navigation, their breeding success, and their hives are becoming depleted. Also, glyphosate removes wildflowers and other flowering plants that provide bees with food throughout the year. Glyphosate does not affect bees alone. Its impact on the whole it has an impact on the whole ecosystem. When the insect population declines, the effects ripple through. Insects are crucial to our food source and to many birds, especially during the breeding season, when chicks need the high protein to help breed, survive and grow. The UK has lost millions of wild birds over recent decades. Habitat loss, climate emergency and the removal of hedgerows all play a role, but pesticides has worsened the problem by reducing the insect population the birds depend on. Glyphosate residues then enters our soil, it affects our plants, insects, amphibians and other wildlife, and the runoff into our drains and further pollutes our rivers and seas. Public health concerns. Let's be clear, glyphosate is a poison. It's designed to kill unwanted plants, not to target specific weeds. Concerns increase when it's applied broadly across streets and pavements, including areas where there may be no or little visible weeds. In 2015, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, come to the World Health Organization, classified glyphosate as a probable carcinogenic to humans. And more recent studies have shown is linked with neurological diseases such as Parkinson's. That's why we are campaigning for residents to be fully informed and precautionary controls to be taken. Many EU countries have banned or restricted the use of glyphosate in urban areas, so why can't we? Removing glyphosate from our streets, or at least significantly reducing its use, would help protect public health, reduce avoidable exposure, and support everyone's right to feel safe in their local environment. Pet owners. Pet owners also need clear warning signs. Island Road advised that pets should not come into contact with freshly sprayed areas until the spray has dried, and acknowledges that exposure may cause effects such as vomiting and diarrhea in pets. However, the official guidelines recommend keeping pets away from recently sprayed areas for 24 to 72 hours. Without visible signs or advance public notice, dog walkers and other residents have no reliable way of knowing which areas have been sprayed. So, you might wonder what we can do. Protecting bees means protecting the web of life that supports us all. As individuals and as a community, we can create pollinator-friendly gardens, green spaces, protect our hedgerows and wildflower habitats. Importantly, write to Island Roads, write to the Isle of Wight Council, write to our MPs, asking them to reduce and end the use of glyphosate, and sign our petition, Greenpeace, which is online and supported by Chris Packer. Public health and the environment are inseparable. When insects disappear, fields become poorer, birds lose vital food source, and the natural system we rely on begins to break down. We are not separate from nature, we are part of it. But to cite David Attenborough, we are literally tearing up the tapestry of life. What are we asking for? At a minimum, Island Roads should tell us when spraying is happening, where it will take place, what products are being used, and what precautions are recommended. Better still, Island Road should move away from routinely spraying and adopt safer, more targeted alternatives, which are clearly available. In the UK, there are 50 local councils that are entirely pesticide-free, and over 100 councils working towards taking significant steps to commencing the phasing out of chemicals like glyphosate. What's the alternative if we don't do anything? Is it allowing the next generation to wake up to a silent spring? That's not the future we want, and it's not the future that we should accept. Thank you so much for taking time to listen. Thank you. I just wondered if anyone would like to even just give an example, or doesn't have to be a speech or anything, just like to say anything that they can relate to from here. Oh, you would hear it.
Yes, I'd just like to ask, Glyphosate means for tens of years, glyphosate has been sprayed on the wheat crops before harvest because it actually multiplies the wheat hasn't been money on that. But it ends up in the bread. Sorry, it ends up in the bread. Millions of people it's our staple diet, so we've been consuming glyphosate for many years, tens of years. It's a cause of obesity and also cancers. And I'll leave it at that anyway, just as a little addition.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, I'll give one example. When we were at the fringe, we were getting signatures for our petition, and we heard lots of quite tragic stories about people's experience with the frame. And one that just stayed in my head was an elderly gentleman who was caring for a rabbit. I think the rabbit was called Harry, a black rabbit. And then the gentleman got quite attached to the rabbit, so he took it on in his own. And he went out one morning and picked dandelion leaves. And he noticed the leaves were damp. And so he thought it was the dew. So he fed it to the rabbit. And within an hour, the rabbit was dead. And then he later found out that that area had been sprayed. So there are lots of stories out there. And you think of pets, which I think people are very concerned about, but dogs and cats, they get it from their paws, and then a personal grooming, so they are going to digest it. And of course the risk to us, I mentioned that they're now finding neurological links, but also the latest research as well is showing that for sperm count it can affect in men. So we're finding out all these things.
I can remember many years ago, I can remember many years ago when there were lots of insects about. We had in our kitchen sticky paper hanging from the ceiling to catch them. When do we see that now? We don't. I can remember it was my brother's job every evening when we got a car, that was when I was about 14 or 15, to clean the windscreen every day because it was scattered with insects. Where have they all gone? There was a tremendous number of insects about when I was young. But now, no.
They drove up and down and they got quad bikes in the street, going up the wrong way, and then turn around and come back down the road. People said their dogs were affected. One lady I spoke to said she had to take her dog to the vet, she spent £1,000 on vet bills. They sprayed what they call weeds, which grow alongside the walls to the pavement. But so they sprayed all those, they sprayed it with their poisons, and then a couple of weeks later they start growing back again. So what was the point of that? They caused all that destruction for nothing because the weeds, so-called weeds, are growing back again. So there was no point.
I learned that when bees are just larvae, sometimes their wings are affected, and sometimes they go with the swarm plates or no wings at all.
Hello, it's me again. I thought I'd have another, because nobody's mentioned it. This lady here, the lady here was talking about the insect disappearance. Yes, it's pesticides, that's a big thing on the book. The increase in insect population started back in the early 80s when they introduced wireless communications for car phones, and it's slowly gone downhill since. In Kensington Gardens in London, there used to be thousands of sparrows in there, and there isn't anymore. People are wondering why. But there's about 20 cell towers around the north, east and south borders of Kensington Gardens. And that's what's killed the sparrows. Those are the main areas in the coal mine. So I just thought I'd mention that anyway.
I don't see them anymore. I have some caterpillars along there, and and also hoverflies. There used to be masses and masses of hoverflies flying in the bushes and on the anyway, yeah. And I just don't see them. I don't see them. They're gone. And all is that something I know that the research birds and insects, and it's just in a kind of a pre-death stage before this is. And that's tragic.
And amphibians several as well, because they absorb it through their skin, so they've got no chance. It's not just what they eat or the water, they actually absorb it in their skin. And water, it's in the water. When Isle of Wight spray, it says the guidelines are don't spray down drains. When do you see the pop light stopping for a drain? Just the whole area is flooded, the whole area is drenched. Anybody else? But thank you, and thank you for your support. It means a lot.